Good afternoon, Liberty fans, and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk with Rags here in Season 4, Episode 3. And today, here we are joined by the Chancellor of Liberty University and the Senior Pastor at Thomas Rhodes Baptist Church, Pastor Jonathan Falwell. Pastor Falwell, how are you doing today?
Yeah, doing well. Great to be with you, man. Appreciate all you do to help support Liberty Flames.
Well, thank you. I definitely appreciate this opportunity. And, just with growing up here in Tidewater and being a Christian and just having drives there across the state, there 460 West. I mean, just the expansion of Liberty University and the success of Liberty Athletics. The Lord is doing great things.
There's no doubt about it. We look back over 52, coming up on 53 years of ministry here at Liberty. And of course, far more than that at Thomas Road. And there's no doubt God's had his hand on this place for a lot of years, and the best is yet to come.
Right. Yes. And tell the listeners, I mean, just with your dad's vision, for starting the school there in 71 and the football program starting in 73 and just, the success there of the football program and all athletics. I mean, what would your dad think of the athletic program and the facilities today?
Well, people ask that question of me a lot. What would your dad say if he could see things now? And my answer is always the same: is he did see it. He saw it a long time ago. He saw it back when no one else did. He saw it when he talked about it, everyone else thought he was crazy. The very idea that Liberty would get to the place where, we're playing on the football side, playing in the bowl championship series, going to the Fiesta Bowl, this season we had this past year, the teams that we're playing across the board, whether it's field and track, or track and field, or basketball, or hockey. It's as insane to see what God has done. But every step of the way, Dad clearly knew that that was the vision that God had given to him, and he talked often about it. If you want to make sure you speak the language of young people, you do it in two ways. You do it in music and you do it in sports, and that was always his passion. And so he wanted to make sure that everything done here was done with excellence. He wanted to make sure that we never got to the place where we were satisfied with where we were. We wanted to continue to rise and continue to grow and to play the biggest of the big. And so, that's where we are today. And, granted, we've got some steps that we still need to take. We still got, a little bit of a journey left to go before we're competing at the level that I think Dad talked about, but we're getting close, and closer than ever before, certainly. And I think it'll be probably sooner rather than later that we'll be seeing those impacts.
Yes, and to even before the football team, got tied to Conference USA, and being an independent there at the FBS level. I mean, nothing. I mean, what an accomplishment there. October 22nd, 2022, when BYU came to Lynchburg and the Flames with a victory.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of big wins. Of course, that was a big one. And, being at home, it was obviously a lot of fun to watch the students just storm the field. It's kind of funny that all of the, security people and the athletics people, they have the big screens up saying, "Don't storm the field, don't storm the field." And of course, all of us are sitting there just laughing, knowing that's exactly what's about to happen. Winning that game 41-14 was a huge milestone for Liberty. Other games like beating Virginia Tech, beating Arkansas. Those are all games that certainly there was a time when no one anticipated that would ever happen. And yet now here we're looking at them in our rear view mirror. And that's, that was yesterday. And now we're moving forward, and we're going to see a lot of other teams that we're going to be beating, and we're going to be beating in a big way. We've got this fall Appalachian State, and we've got East Carolina and some other schools. And so I was talking with Jamie Chadwell just the other day, and man, he feels really confident about next year and excited about next year. He's got some great players that are coming in. And so, we're looking good.
Right. And with the football program, with moving to Conference USA. So then, with being part of a conference, then there's a lot more opportunities to go to bowls, nowadays. But I mean, this year here, the first year of Conference USA, playing for a conference title, get to host the conference title, and similar when you're hosting the conference championship game and the final few seconds are ticking down. Signs are up there saying, do not go onto the field. But, just the excitement there with the student body and the football team to share the success and the students being right there as the football team is being awarded the Conference USA trophy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, those types of things are moments that, not only do you cherish them in relationship to the excitement of winning the game, and of course, the next step, going to the bowl game and winning the conference championship for the first time there in CUSA. But for young people, I mean, it's a milestone moment in their college career to be able to storm the field like that for a legitimate reason. I mean, there are people that might storm the field for something not quite as significant, but when you win a conference championship, undefeated on the season, one of I think three teams at that moment that had been undefeated in the entire nation. Certainly it was a remarkable feat, and exciting to be a part of. And again, I think it's the first of many. I mean, obviously, to go undefeated in a season is, again, 3 or 4 teams that did it. When you think about the fact that, that might not be repeated, but, for a while, but who knows? I mean, it's obviously we've got a lot of great things. We're hitting on all cylinders, and we've got an amazing coach. We've been blessed with a lot of great coaches through the years. Hugh Freeze did a fantastic job of taking us step by step to the next level. And Jamie Chadwell stepped in here where I think a lot of people anticipated a rebuilding year.
Right.
And, I had lunch with him just a couple of days ago, and, I joked with him like, quite a rebuilding year, an amazing thing to do in a rebuilding year. And so, great days ahead.
Right. And then just the opportunity that, with the football team going to the Fiesta Bowl and the following that the school and the athletic department got, for that month preparing for the New Year's Six Bowl. And then my wife and I, we were unable to go out there to Arizona, but through technology, through the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, we were able to watch the services there on the grounds of the team hotel there on Sunday. And what a moment that the school had the opportunity to reach out to the community there in Arizona.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Certainly, there's no doubt that the game was, of course, the highlight of the trip when it comes to the fact that's why we went. But
Right.
we had an opportunity for a pep rally on Saturday, and lots of fans came out. I don't know the numbers of how many people were there, but I mean, it was packed with fans that had traveled a long distance, and not all from Lynchburg, from all over the country that had come to be a part of that game. And then the next day to have that worship service and be able to have the players right down front and all the fans surrounding them. And, the one thing that I wanted to make sure I was very deliberate about is that this was not a worship service or a prayer service for a football team,
Right.
that this was a worship service. We'd had church, and we were very deliberate about that. I didn't want this to be all about the football team and the game. It was, hey, we were all together. We traveled a long way to be together. And it was a Sunday morning. We were going to have church. And so we studied the Word of God together, and we, worshiped together, and we prayed together. And the team was there, but it wasn't about the team. It was all about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I think that a lot of people in that area, certainly in that hotel that were there for that moment, recognized like this is a special time, a special moment. And it was great to be a part of that and great to lead that.
Right. And I mean, also, I've been able to interview Ian, and Coach Chadwell came on via the phone when he first took over, and Dot Richardson with softball, Richie McKay basketball, and Scott Jackson baseball. So it looks like here that with Ian leading the athletic program and the coaches that are in place there for the men and the women's sports, definitely great things ahead there for all athletics there at LU.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we've got a great team. And if some of them have been here longer, you look at people like Kerry Green with our women's basketball team. I mean, he's been here for a lot of years. Then you've got others that are newer, obviously, Lance Bingham and others that have come in. But Ian has built a great team. Obviously, some of those were here before he arrived, but he has built kind of a family, a partnership, a connection with all of them, and they are working seamlessly together to continue to take all of the flame sports to the next level. And across the board, we're seeing that. I mean, field hockey, playing in the national championship game. All of those types of things are things that, while might not get as much of attention as the Fiesta Bowl, still are significant when you look at the scope of what we do here. My dad always said, if it's Christian, it ought to be better. And I think we're seeing that in, being lived out in our athletics program, certainly in our academics program, certainly in our facilities. There's no question that we're right on track to where God would want us to be.
Yes, and also with before we started sharing that my nephews have gone to Liberty. My wife and I, we've tuned into Convocation, and with it being Monday before the Super Bowl, James Brown of CBS Sports, he was one of the guest speakers that came to speak to the students, and he's getting ready to, with his job, getting ready to host the pregame and the postgame of the big game.
Yeah. He was here last year, and great guy, just a passionate follower of Christ, and shared his testimony and shared how God had allowed him, it's some of in that field, obviously in sports, to rise to the highest levels of success in regards to that element, and just a stalwart member of the community of Christ, and obviously having the opportunity of being a great witness and a great testimony. And we've, had the privilege of him speaking, as well as a lot of others that have come. We've got people like Tony Dungy. He'll be here in a couple of weeks here at Liberty speaking to the students. And, so when you look at that element of it, it's great, which is exactly what Dad intended for Liberty to have, as God led him to start the school and to grow the school, was to make sure that our students were always exposed to Christ followers who were very successful in their fields, excellent in their fields, regardless of what that field might be, whether it's sports or business or politics, certainly ministry, and a lot of other areas, that we would always have the opportunity of exposing our students to that level of speaker, that level of influence, so that they could see that no matter where God might take them in the days to come, in the future, in their career path, they never need to compromise. They never need to set aside their faith in order to rise to the highest levels. They can do it while still holding fast to their convictions, holding fast to their faith, and allowing that to be what drives them day in and day out. That's what Champions for Christ is all about.
Right. Yes. And then, even this past fall with the World Series and the Texas Rangers, I see that third base coach, Tony Beasley, there is a Liberty alum. So definitely, a lot of alums. I know that we started talking football, Eric Green, Rashad Jennings, just two of the ones that had successful professional careers and started at Liberty. But here's, Tony Beasley here, an assistant coach there in the Major League Baseball, LU alum.
Yeah, well, you'll go back in the history. You've got people like Sid Bream and Lee Guterman, Randy Tomlin playing today, Demario Douglas, others that are, making an impact day by day. Malik Willis, he's still climbing and still rising, and all of those types of things. But again, outside of athletics, you've got people like the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who is a Liberty professor and actually serves on our staff today, and yet he still is the Speaker of the House, second in line actually to the presidency. And so when you think about those types of things, it's incredible to see the influence and the impact that one place can have. And I think it's because of the fact that we do not compromise our faith. And so when you look at that element of who we are as an institution, that we're not going to drift, we're not going to move away from our mission of training champions for Christ, I do believe God honors that. I believe God blesses that, and he blesses it individually and the people like we've just mentioned, but he also blesses it corporately as an organization, that we continue to have influence and impact around the world. And again, that's exactly who we are, and it's exactly what we're going to continue to do. And I believe the days ahead will be bright and great days for Liberty University.
Yes. Well, hey, I appreciate your time here. I know that my wife Elizabeth and we've been Flames Club members and football season ticket holders, there since 14. So even in the few years that we've been active season ticket holders, we've seen the growth not only there in football but other athletics. We haven't stayed up too late to catch a hockey game. Maybe one time hockey will be an earlier match to go check out one of those
games. Some of those games take place at 7:00. Some of them take place at midnight. I don't go to the midnight games either. But this past week we played I think number 1, number 2 in the nation, Adrian, and we beat them. And so the hockey team is great. I mean, it's just across the board. This past weekend in the Live Golf Tournament, Kieran Vincent, a Liberty grad, played in the professional golf. He played in the Live Golf Tournament, and his team won the tournament. And so, we've got, wherever you look, you're going to see the Liberty University brand being held up high, and we're excited about that.
Well, hey, I appreciate your time for coming on, and go Flames, and hopefully to meet you at a football game there next fall in person.
Yeah, look forward to doing it.
All right. Well, hey, fans. So that was Pastor Falwell here on today to share about training champions for Christ there at LU. Thanks again.